you want to talk about like where this picture came from? Like, what were you guys doing that day?
Oh, we were just out on like not a Starved Rock, but it was a place over by Starved Rock. I can't remember the name of it. And I think we were out like in the middle of the river for that picture. But yeah, so I got a picture of Becca while she was enjoying the suspended time.
Like, if there's lyrics or moments in the song that stand out to you, that's your favorite part, because I always enjoy hearing that about.
Oh yeah. I like the last couple of lines. I don't know why I'm blanking on the. I know the last line try again, but like basically it's talking about like, hey, things are gonna get hard, and that's okay. Like, kind of take a moment, compose yourself a little bit, and try to make the best of things.
When did you write this song? Like, was it a random Wednesday afternoon, or
pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote it, I think, in 2023, like a little bit before I put the album out. Because I wanted to have something that was a bit more positive. The song's or the album can be perceived negatively. Like, I talk a lot about mental health, and like I have a rapidly, I don't want to say declining, but fluctuating mental health. So like, I wanted to have something on there to represent that. Kind of, I'm working on it, and kind of was getting better.
How did the machine come about? Like, did you already have Becca in mind to create a song with her, or did she write these lyrics? Did you write these lyrics? How did this even come about with her being in this song?
Alright, so this one, this is one I actually kind of slapped the instrumental together. The piano part on the original one, I actually found the chord progression through an Instagram video and got the idea from there. The idea of like the start at the bottom, arpeggiate up. But I got Becca in the song because like I wanted to get her into a song because she's always wanted to be like part of a song at least, or have like she's always been back and forth on it. And I wanted to give her that kind of start to it, or that experience. But also on the lyrical standpoint, the lyrics are about like workplace burnout. And I had like a extensive burnout.
It's always my favorite part of the song.
Oh, like that was my favorite verse on the last album. But I had like extensive workplace burnout, and then coming home to home life was difficult because I was too tired to be part of home life in a way. Like, so I was doing my best, but struggling through it. And I was getting to a point where I was having like passive suicidal ideation. And Becca was a huge part of me getting out of that burnout. That she started working, told me like, hey, take a break, focus on the things that you enjoy. And that was a huge part of my mental health getting better.
How does she take it though?
Oh, she loves it.
Yeah. Good.
Like, she gets shy about it. But no, like, that's the song that she showed off to like work friends and.
Oh, so she's promoting it too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, if you want to hear me, I guess.
Right.
So this is a new one right here at the Lighthouse, right?
Yeah, I just started working on this one probably in the last 6 months or so.
Did you intend to write new music for the acoustic album?
Yeah.
Or was it just one of those things where you're like, actually, I guess I got this song?
Actually, I started working on this one probably about a year ago. My grandma passed, and it was about my relationship with her. And I really wanted to write about that because it's not like the basic grief process. It's like, because that's something I've always struggled to write about, is like the grief process, but it was like a really complicated process. Like when I was a kid, I was really close to my grandma. Into adulthood, I was, again, super close to her into adulthood. Had some bumps or hiccups, or what you want to call it. But my relationship with her kind of deteriorated over time, and this is about me trying to kind of rebuild that relationship. And I kept pushing it off. I would see her every once in a while, talk about getting to see her more often, and then don't. And then even now, like, that's been just over a year, and I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around it, because, like, I didn't see her often enough, so I'm having a hard time seeing, like...
Oh, I can't just go see her and do this now.
Right.
Because that was still always an option, regardless of how far apart you are.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, we're just apart.
Right. Like John talked me into adding that bass in, actually. He did the bass tracking for Inside and 647.
Oh. So this next song, I heard a really handsome person helped you out with this next one.
This old guy. I wanted to try a take on more of an uplifting song. So I wrote the instrumental back in 2017. I've been playing it, like, just fiddling on guitar pretty consistently since then. When it got time to write the lyrics for it, it was very out of my comfort zone. Not something I was used to. And so I just spent, until probably, about 2023, just sitting on it, just coming back to it every once in a while and giving up and coming back and giving up. And I wanted to get Scotty on this album. Because the initial album, I wanted people that they're doing this for the fun of doing it, and they just love their craft. And so I pulled this song back out, and I was like, this is a perfect song to get them on. And still couldn't think of lyrics. So I sent him a message. I was like, hey, I'm working on this song. I've been working on it for a while. Like, I'd really love to get you on this album. Can you help me with writing the lyrics for this one? Dude, holy shit! The next day, you sent me 2 drafts of it. You're like, hey, I have this idea. Recorded the whole thing, like demoed it out, like the verses at least. And then you sent me another draft later on. It's like, hey, here's another way we could do it. Like, and
did we mix them together?
I think so. Yeah, we mixed the 2 drafts. Cause I remember it blew my mind. So I've been working on it since 2017. I couldn't think of a single line. We came up with 2 whole ass songs. So we got together, kind of tightened it up a little bit. Now I figured out who was singing what. And then
you had that third verse.
Yeah, that
just
final
from something else that you were doing, or did you listen more and then figure that out?
I think I actually already had the lyrics for that part. So I ended up writing that final chorus. But I wouldn't have even made it that far without those first 2 verses in there, because I couldn't, for the life of me, figure it out. Inside is talking about that things get better, and kind of more of that positive outlook on life instead of focusing so much on the negative, which I tend to do. But focusing more on that positive and get that deep breath and work on it, I guess. Which I don't know if that's what you had in mind when we wrote the lyrics, but that's kind of the...
Well, I mean, we had been talking about wanting to write more positive, so when that came along, it was just like that opportunity to do exactly that.
Alright, so Below the Willow was one that I actually wrote with Brady for mine and his project Revla. We had 3 songs. We ended up putting one of them out on Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music. 2 of them we have a couple different mixes up on SoundCloud for it. But these 2 didn't really go anywhere as far as reaching. But this one in particular, I love this song. like I wrote the instrumentals for it, and he wrote the vocals for it, and it was one that it ended up being like going together so well that I didn't want it to just kind of die on SoundCloud, basically. Like I wanted to give it a little bit of that range to that, and like it's just such a pretty song that I wanted to have a rendition of it. It's kind of like that satisfaction of having a cover song, but I kind of own the rights to the song, so I don't have to pay every year for it. But it's kind of like that. Some of the lyrics are pretty on the nose with the meaning, so, but that meant like the depression and needing to feel like you have the space, and the song it says need to feel at home, but not being able to find that comfort or that space to be able to just be or to just exist.
Do you want to talk about like where this picture came from? Like, what were you guys doing that day?
Oh, we were just out on like not a Starved Rock, but it was a place over by Starved Rock. I can't remember the name of it. But we were just out enjoying a nice hike. There's a river down there, Mathiasen, and I think we were out like in the middle of the river for that picture. But yeah, so I got a picture of Becca while she was enjoying the
Mr. Popular, ignoring his calls.
priorities.